Hi, my name is Gary Johnston. I'm a science teacher at Saigon South International School. What I'll be doing today is showing you how you can use entry interviews like this in the flipped classroom using Google Forms and also the Formmule script. So what I've done here is I've just created an entry interview that on my Google Drive, and I've just made 3 questions, and this is the live form. And what I'm going to do is just show you how to use some very basic tools to make a self-grading quiz, but also use the Formmule script to actually email students information. So this is really handy as, for example, the responses trickle in like you see here. This is my spreadsheet. I've already done it once. Instead of like waiting for all the students to submit, it's going to automatically grade, but automatically then assign and email them a remedial activity if needs be. So this is really great. So students aren't kind of twiddling their thumbs and waiting for some other students to open up their computers or to warm up and such. And I'm also, I just want to note too that I'm using the old form of Google Sheets. So our school just recently this morning went over to the new sheets, and so if you go to create a spreadsheet, my new sheet has, for example, like an add-ons gallery, and still when we make a form, the automatic default spreadsheet kicks over into this old one. So instead of add-ons, you'll see tools and you'll see script gallery. So that's where we're getting Formmule from later. But right now with my series of responses, I'm just going to give a quick tutorial on how to make a self-grading quiz. So there's question 1, question 2, and then question number 3. And then I'm also going to make a column. Some people make a column for like percentage. I'm just going to make one for total. And then I'm also going to make another column here for question 1 response, question 2 response, and finally question 3 response. Okay, so the first thing is I'm just going to use a simple formula to grade this, and what I'm doing by answering this myself is I'm creating sort of like the anchor paper, and because of that I can select cells here. So for example here, we see that the cell that I have here is the C2 cell, and I'm going to use just a simple function, what's this called an if function, an if, and then parentheses, and I'm going to say C2, and that's going to equal C $2. So that means that if whatever pops up in that cell equals that, then there's a comma, and I'm going to put a value of 1, which means that the student would have gotten this correct. If this condition hasn't been met, like for example, if in C2 there's something else in there, it'll be given a value of 0. And I'm just going to put that in parentheses. Now when I hit return, the number 1 should pop up, because so far what has been put in this cell should match what is matched over here. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing over here. So also if, and then I'm going to say, in this time though, I'm going to take the D cell, so D2, and if what is met in D2 is D $2, assign this a value of 1, and if that hasn't been met, it's going to by default kick out at 0. And finally, the last thing, hopefully you've seen a pattern by now, it's E2. So equals, so equals if, comma, if E2 is met with E $2, give that value 1, and if not, is 0. And for the last one, I'm just going to do a quick sum formula. So sum, and here I'm going to take the sum of, in this case, F, G, and H. So F2, there's a couple ways I can do this. I can just put F2 colon H2, or I could actually just drag all the cells like that. You'll see it automatically does it for me. And if I do that, it should say 3, since 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. Here's the next thing that is an interesting formula you can do, and this doesn't require a lot of technical skills. It took me a little bit of time to learn, but once I've learned it, this has really gotten really quickly. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a response. So right now with this will create a self-grading sort of quiz, and as students submit their responses, I can take these formulas and copy these down, and so that means when a student submits a response, these will pop up. But I don't want to leave it just at that, because if a student has something wrong, what are they going to do? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a response that we can be emailed to them, which is a pretty cool feature, and I'm just going to show you how to use it. So for example, getting back to this, this is my F2 cell right here, and sorry, I'm just going to go back there, and to go back here, and says is F2 equals 1. So in this case, the formula's working already, and what submits in these cells over here should be either a 1 and a 0. So if F2 equals 1, I'm going to put a comma there. I'm going to send out a quote saying great job. And I'm going to put another comma. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of assign a remedial activity or review activity. So for this, if they got this wrong, this ties into a video. I'm going to say watch a short video on Moodle. Okay. And so, oops, sorry, why is that not working? Oh yeah, I got to get rid of that period and make it a. So if you just, like, what I did is I just took this up here and I took a period and turned it into a comma. So now that I've done that, what I have here is, it says great job, and in this case for me, oh, why is this so screwy? So I want to get rid of that KC. So, no, F2 equals 1. So if F2 equals 1, comma, great job, comma, watch short video on Moodle. So this is a very simple formula here, and as I press return, all it should pop up as a great job because I have 1 over here in the cell. Same thing over here, I'm going to do. So if, and then since we're working here with question number 2, which is in in the G2 cell, if G2 equals 1, comma, great job, and then also comma mark. So if this isn't met, I'm going to have an alternate activity. So instead of this, look at the reading at the BBC reading. There's a BBC website that I use for this. Look at the BBC reading on Moodle, and then cap that off with a parenthesis, and finally it says great job. And finally, the last thing that I'm just going to put is also here if, and since question 3 is correlating over here to what's in cell H2, I'm going to say if H2 equals 1, if that condition is met, same thing, I'm just going to say great job. And if it hasn't been, I'm going to say come up and model a footprints look with Mr. J. So I have a little modeling activity where we're going to model like some imprint fossils in sand just to infer their movements. And so it's this. In fact, I'm just going to change this a little bit so there's an exclamation point on here. So it's just kind of similar. Okay. So bada bing, there we go. And now we have all this. And now this, we're going to enter the Formmule script. And so because I'm in the old version of Google Sheets, I'm just going to go to Script Gallery. In the new version, ones that you do are kept in the database. So Formmule is just one word. For all the developers out there, I hope that you guys put this on the new version of Google Sheets because I think this is a really fun script to use and it's saved me a lot of time. And I'm just going to install that, and once I do, you'll see Formmule pops up here at the top, and saying OK. And then once I do, it'll say it needs initial installation to run. So I'm just going to hit that. Okay. Okay, so take a few seconds probably, and then when I do it, a few different steps will pop up. Like for example, like there's like a 1A and a 2A. I'm just going to run the script to make sure that it's up and running. There it is. Okay. So first step, define merge source settings. So this is pretty easy. In the case of multiple sheets, you might have some more responses down here, but I'm just going to keep that as that, hit the save settings, and I'll just click this auto create unique case number for each submission. And once I do the little Formmule script starts moving. So with Formmule, just to kind of summarize this as I'm working, what it does is it allows you to do specific functions, specifically around emails. And the way that I saw this originally demoed was for counselors and administrators that were using a form to trigger certain emails to be sent out to certain people on behavioral infractions. So for example, if like a student, say like Johnny, did something bad, an email might be sent out to Johnny and his parents, and then also to the right people. So I'm going to model this, but from the aspect of a flipped classroom, because what I want to do is I want to, as the students do this entry interview over here, what I want to do is I want them to actually receive email notifications about what they did. And this is a little bit different and more efficient, I think, than using, for example, Flubaroo, that you have to wait for everyone to like submit their forms in before you actually run it as a class. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start by hitting the email merge feature, and I'm going to trigger this feature on the form submit. So as soon as they get that, it's going to be automatically signed to them, so I don't have to do anything. So I can walk and roam around while the students are working. You can submit up to 6 different emails, but what I'm going to do just to make this easy, I'm just going to have one. And if the column, if the username, if any username pops up, so since our domain for our school has their own unique username, anytime a name pops up there, it doesn't also have to be a specific person, just anytime one's in here, it's automatically going to run this function. So I think you'll see more. This might sound a little technical right now, but I think once you see it in action, you'll kind of figure it out. Once you also do, you notice that this new sheet's popped up here. So this is our original sheet here at the bottom, says form responses. And this email template here has popped up, which might look a little bit kind of scary or kind of confusing. Don't be. It's actually quite easy once walking through the process, and you'll see a couple new things that popped up here. So now that I've done this, what I want to do is I want to set up my email merge. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop that up there. And oh, sorry, I've already done that, my bad. And I'm just going to go over here, and what I want to do is I want to kind of set up, first of all, my advanced options. And what my advanced options does is it actually copies down the formula. So far, the formula that I've just made has applied only to these cells. It doesn't actually go down. So I'm going to copy formulas down on the form submit. And that means that every time that pops in there, that should work just fine. Now, this brings me down to my email template. And now you see down here, oh, sorry, here, go back here, I haven't quite finished that. Just going to select this. I want to select the F. Column will automatically stay down there. I'm just going to select these. So I'm just kind of giving it a heads up on what formulas I want to copy down. And move that over. Okay, that's it. Oops. Okay. So the last thing I'm going to do is draft my email, and this is what I want my email to say when the students actually get their form submitted. So I'm going to click on my tab over here, and notice all these available merge variables have popped up. So whatever is written in these will pop up, and this is also independent of what I've done. So based on the formulas that I've written, the students may have responses that look different than this, and I'll model that a little bit later. But I'm just going to copy and paste some of these, like for example the username with this little $sign right here. I'm just going to control C that, and I'm just going to pop that into the to sections. So that means whoever is the user and whoever submits that, which is based on a username email anyways, will pop in there. And then the subject is going to be, I'm going to call this results of entry interview. And I'm also going to keep this username just to kind of write a bit of a body. So dear, and control V, paste that in there. And I'm going to say, here are the results of your entry interview. And, oops, sorry. Control, turn, okay. So I'm going to have question 1. And then question 2, and then question 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop in here the question 1 response. So I'm going to control C that, and I'm just going to pop that in here. So that means they're going to see a very unique message based on how they did on this. So I think that really streamlines the sort of learning activity to the student, and that gives them specific information that maybe another student got, but they might need to review a little more in depth. So notice that I just have this. Now, if they got it right, it's just going to say good job, and then if they didn't, it's going to say, hey, go check out this activity. I'm also going to say a little message here. Please start the activity. Any recommended activities above, and talk to me if you have any questions. And oh, sorry, one more thing, just sign off with my name. Okay, and that's the last thing. So what I've done, just to summarize, is I've used some basic formulas over here using the if function, and I've put this on the cells here and the sum total here. And what I've done is I've made this, I'm copied down the formulas, and the advanced option is where you copy down the formulas. Now, just to give this a whirl, make sure it's running smoothly, I'm just going to go back to the original form and do it again. And this is incorrect, so I'm just going to click that. And this is incorrect, and so is this right here. So I'm going to submit, and now if you look on our spreadsheet, you'll see what's a little bit different about it now is since I've submitted that. And you'll see now that there's my response the second time through. These automatically pop up here, and this right here. And the last thing to pop up is the email template status. So you see that this cell here was the very, very last thing. And I'm just going to go here to my inbox on Gmail, and you can see it pops up hopefully like in a few seconds or so. I'll get a personalized email about that says, hey, that's what you should review. So these have automatically tabulated up. I have a little total column if you want to add that up and add that to your grade book. And then you can also see what students got wrong and the email. So that is that. Just going to refresh and see if that does anything to speed up things. Looks like maybe that timed out. And then you see it right here, results of entry interview, and it says right here, dear by my username, and then it'll just say number 1, watch this, number 2, do that. And I think this has really been something that's helped my students really focus and get on task right as they walked in the door. Don't be put off by using these formulas. It was a little confusing for me at first, but now that I've used these a few times, it's really made my efficiency go up, and it's really helped students get in the mood when they walk into class, and it's really helped as a great tool for the flipped classroom. Hope you enjoyed this hack. Thanks a lot.